Okay, welcome everyone. Today is a very special day because uh, henceforth we will be without our dear Ricky on What Did Prince Do This Week. So I see so many amazing words and just love in the chat. We have Andre Staley, life is short for sure. Love the ones you love while they are here. Rest in peace, Ricky. And Cassandra Bradley, we have my most sincere condolences on the loss of our beautiful brother and purple friend, Pretty Ricky. And we have a Happy New Year from April Watson, as well as Smitty Rock, rest in peace. We have RTL 49, condolences to Ricky's family and friends. We have Anna B, got a broken heart again. This is what it sounds like when doves cry. Christina, so sorry to hear the passing of Ricky Wyatt. Prayers to his family and friends. I will miss his contributions to What Did Prince Do This Week. Lady Cab Driver, RTL 49, G9, praying for strength and healing for his family and friends. K Cool Music, and Lisa Williams, my condolences. Drea Dances, rest in heaven to our dear Ricky. Jamal, God bless, stay strong. All my love and heartfelt prayers to Ricky and his family. D68A, Levine Ford, Nick Felden, Sally Kinley, Chanel Meredith, Riolanda DJ, Eldebara. I love this. Deepest condolences to all who had the pleasure of having Ricky in their lives. The Boombox Guru, TP Libra, Sister Charles, Chris Bornay, EA8133, Karan, Duke Swan, and Theo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a very short video, and then we'll have some remarks from Michael Ding, Celie, and myself. And Duane will be joining us. There are so many more here. We got Man Ray 10, and we got Blade Brown, Bodhisattva, and yes, Kim, you summed it up. And we got Heavenly Gains. We got I Am So Sad. Thank you for the prayers. Yeah, sexy. And we have Mira. We have JD. And yes. All right. So I'm going to play. Yes, I love this. Okay, love. Yeah. Mr. Dear.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's Ricky, man. He started that.
Yep.
Yes, he did. That is Ricky indeed. So I'm going to play a very short video from Ivan Orr. Is going to be the first in the video. And Ivan actually is really special to both Ricky and I because we did the Grown Folks Music Prince podcast together. So if you remember the Grown Folks Music Prince podcast, the reason why I got there is because of Ricky and Ivan. And they also get together. And then we're going to hear from Chris Bornay, and then we're going to hear from Harold Pride. And everyone should know that Harold Pride is my brother-in-law sexy. So we will play this video for you. Give me 1 second.
I just wanted to pop in here real quick on this Friday in tribute and honor to my friend, Rick. Also known as Ricky, John Franklin, Wyatt, the Ricker. I don't know if I was the one to coin that nom de plume, as it were, but we had a lot of fun with that. I want to thank D'Angela for providing this platform to just express some condolences to the entire Wyatt family, both in Richmond and Atlanta and beyond. And Rick was a very, very special person, friend. We had some really great conversations over the years. Wow, well over 20 some years. And I know folks have known him much longer. But yeah, it was a very special relationship. And when I got involved with grown folks music, Rick was, an ardent supporter from the very beginning. We had long conversations about, the Purple Fam, Prince, and all the related, acts and producers and so forth and so on, that branched out from the tree of Prince. Rick put me onto a lot of great material, from rehearsal tapes to, professionally produced DVDs, concerts, you name it. And of course, we shared a love of reading, both avid readers, and you had back issues of all kinds of things that sparked great conversations around music, and we played together a lot. Again, when I first moved to Richmond, didn't really know a lot of folks, and linked up with Rick, some other great brothers, and learned the city that way, playing all kinds of gigs, and sometimes in people's living rooms, and backyards, and clubs, and you name it, birthday parties, weddings, the whole nine. And so I'm sending this out to tribute to all of those who've had the opportunity to interact with Rick or hear him on, whether it was a podcast or, symposia, when they were doing, his latest endeavor with he and D'Angelo, just great research, great content. And so we're going to miss our good brother. We're going to miss him. He's made an impact on many lives, and we are just very, very, very grateful, all of us who were able to know Rick and to spend some time with him. And we wish you well on this transition. And you will always be in our thoughts, my good friend. Till we meet again, Rue.
Hi, my name is Chris Bournet, and I would like to honor Ricky for his excellent musicianship, for his insightful commentary about the rich musical legacy of Prince and his associates, and for just being an all-around great human being. Although I didn't know Ricky personally, I'm so glad I got to experience his greatness through the annual symposia and the weekly What Did Prince Do This Week live stream, organized by Ricky's lifelong friend and fellow music aficionado, D'Angelo Duff. I especially appreciated Ricky's Dear Estate moments during the weekly What Did Prince Do This Week live stream. As a fellow Prince fan, I really appreciated Ricky's keen insights into what the Purple community would like to see officially released and re-released. We will cherish Ricky as a man, a musician, and a friend. Rest in peace, Ricky, and thank you for everything. We will remember you forever.
Hello, hey D'Angela and everyone in the Prince community. I hope everyone is well, and I wish everyone a happy New Year 2026. I wanted to just share a few brief thoughts on Ricky Wyatt. Number one, want to express my sincere condolences to Ricky's entire family and the global Prince community. Ricky was someone that I was introduced to via D'Angela's programming over the years. I did not know him well and I didn't know him long, but I did know his kindness. Ricky and I, a number of years ago, fell into the habit of checking in on each other and exchanging music directly that we thought the other might appreciate, and then that being kind of the impetus for an informal check in. And during our last conversation, he asked me to join he and D'Angela and Michael Dean and Seeley on a Saturday conversation, which I haven't been able to do, but I wanted to show up and make good, albeit under these circumstances, and show up in honor of Ricky's legacy. Kind people are the most important people the world has to offer. And as someone who did not know Ricky that long and did not know him beyond our conversations around music, I do know his kindness, and I know that he's a part of that sacred community. So the loss is felt, but I am gratified that he will continue to be memorialized so warmly by Michael Dean, D'Angelo Seeley, and all of us that were fortunate enough to be in community with Ricky. Ricky at times could give me a challenging musical opinion that would make me pull my hair out when I had hair. But I really appreciated those challenges, and I always look forward to the lining of humor that was always a standard in his communications with me. So, say all that to say, rest in peace to Ricky. You are one of a kind. Every time I hear Ready for the World, I will think of you. And all the best to D'Angela and the supporting crew. You guys are doing amazing work, and I'm always on the sideline cheering you guys on.
All right, let me see if I can remember how to remove the here we go. Remove it from the stage. Okay, there we go. All right. So Michael Dean, would you like to say some words?
I really echo a lot of what was just said and what we heard. I was thinking about Ricky the other day, and the thing that I guess I remember and just want to mention about Ricky is that, and I didn't really think of it so much, in our dealings with each other and conversations, and just like what you heard, I mean, it was just a lot of texts and, oh, did you hear this? Or, something leaked, and, oh man, did you, and, or yo, Mike, would you, yo, okay, yeah, I got you. Let me slide that to you. It was a lot of that. I'm going to be all over the place. And Ricky was like the cat, like I would have known Ricky without this if we lived in the same area. Ricky was like a lot of cats that I grew up with that I knew from back in the day. We might not have been boys, like, what I mean? It's like we didn't go really kick it, but I saw my man at the record shop. He always be at the record shop every weekend, and we get to chop it up, and he's in the Prince. Oh, that's homie over there, or you be out and about. He was just one of them cool dudes. Maybe Ricky was the cat that went to the other high school, but was mad cool. So if you was skipping school or you went over there, he wasn't, he wasn't in the streets and like that. He was a good dude, but he was hella cool. And he was like, oh man, that's my homie over there. You know what I'm saying? That was Ricky. So to me, like how I grew up, that's how I saw Ricky. And he was like into something that I was really into, like Prince. Like we all share this thing. It was almost like a secret sort of thing within the culture. And Ricky was like, I can talk to him about that. He can give me up on some new stuff. To cycle back through all of that, we're older, and Ricky is a dad. And when I saw his one of his daughters posted up some pictures and put some words up on Facebook. Man, I just saw him in that element, and I was like, wow, like he was so much. I didn't really know he was like a teacher or something too. So I was just like, yo, we're so much more than our hobbies or the things that just sort of unite us. But he was a whole father, a husband, and I'm looking at them pictures, and I just hope that his kids know that there's people all over the world that really valued what Ricky had to say, his opinion. He, like you heard, he was super kind, so he touched so many people. Like I just hope that they get the opportunity to see, like, there's a lot of people that your dad was, he was really special. Like we all loved him, and your dad was a lot bigger maybe than you. You are a son or you're a daughter. That's your father. That's your mother. But sometimes you just think of them just as your parents.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ricky was way bigger too. Like, so I just want y'all to know that we really loved your dad, and it was off of the love of music. Like that, how much love that connects us, different people. Like we all over here taking our time. We want to give tribute to your dad. So that's just what I wanted to say, man. Ricky was a solid dude. There was some things that Ricky asked me to do that I wasn't able to accomplish, and life is short. But Ricky, that was my guy, man. I didn't know him that deeply, but the way I did know him, and I think what he represented to me, I will miss that. Absolutely. So.
All right, Celie.
Couple of things. I'm gonna start collectively and then go to Rick. I met Rick, like a lot of folk, through Prof Duff in 2017. That relationship reminded me that learning is way cooler than teaching. And what I mean about that is two people that I often connect, which are, well, three, but particularly Brother Rick and Brother Dean, they never lost their youthful love for Prince. And that's very important when you understand what society tends to do to Black males. And Ricky he just reminded me of what it was like being a teenager and being a Prince fan. Because the coolest thing about being a teenager and being a Prince fan and finding other Prince fans was the sharing of Prince's music. And Ricky never let us stray from that's what it meant to be a Prince fan. That's what it meant to be in the Prince community, was to put your people up on game and to be willing to be put up on game. And Ricky never missed an opportunity to share with us, putting each other up on game when it came to Prince and enjoying what it was to be a Prince fan and not become jaded. The second thing for me is that Ricky was my HBCU brother. And for a lot of people who don't know, HBCU stands for Historically Black Colleges and Universities. And I think people, for those of us who were HBCU grads, who were in HBCUs in the 80s, there's a special connection that I could find, because it goes back to what Brother Dean was saying about somebody from your community, somebody from your hood, right, that you could have these special moments with, and what it meant to be a young Black person being a Prince fan before Purple Rain. And for me, that's what Rick always embodied, and Rick and Prof Duff particularly. But it was, you were a Prince fan doing 1999. You were a Prince fan doing Controversy. You were a Prince fan doing Dirty Mind. And that Rick was very clear that he was not going to allow anybody to take Prince from that community. Doesn't mean that you didn't share. And I want to be clear. I don't want people to mistake what I'm saying. Because Rick understood we want to share Prince with the world. We want to share Prince with everybody. But Prince was very clear that Prince represented everything that was great and good and brilliant about being a Black person in America. And Rick was always down for it. And the last couple of things I want to say, which is kind of funny, Rick loved 3 movies. Rick and I talked about 3 particular movies. It was a movie called A Man from Adam that starred Sammy Davis Jr. He loved The Crossroads, right? With Ralph Macchio, the blues movie. He loved Crossroads. And he loved Idolmaker. And I think what's funny about the movie Idolmaker is that if you are a certain age, you watch that movie on HBO, and then to learn later that was one of Prince's favorite movies, right? And then for us to learn that Prince was using the Idolmaker kind of as his template for The Time and for Vanity 6 and for Apollonia, Rick really gravitated toward Crossroads because of the blues and because of guitar playing and because of Idol Maker, because it connected us with Prince. And so I want to say all that to say that Prince reminded me of what Prince always tried to remind us, is that human beings are pie charts with multiple slices. And the way that Prince wouldn't allow anybody to limit his slices, Ricky was clear that he was going to explore all the multiple slices of Prince, and you are not going to narrow Prince down. That's why he was always in our face about Madhouse. He was always in our face about Fusion. He was always in our face because Rick, more as much as anybody, wanted the world to know that Prince was a multi-talented Black man who should be appreciated. And I will forever be grateful for Ricky for teaching us and keeping us, but most importantly, for never losing his joy of what it meant to be a teenager in love with Prince. I'll shut up.
All right. And Duane, do you mind saying a few words?
Sure. Is my mic working? Just want to make sure.
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah. Great. Okay. When you told me about Ricky, I was when anybody passes for me in my life, I go back and reread what we discussed. I'm not a fan of social media, but times like this, that can help because I can go back and actually read what he and I wrote to each other. And all you guys are right. The guy loved Prince. The guy loved Madhouse. The guy just, it was a fun thing for him. But I learned a lot by looking at what other people were posting. Like you said, I didn't know he was a dad. I had no idea he was a Q. That was big for me. I was like, wow. I know the dedication of the Qs. I used to see him on campus and thought that takes a lot. And anybody who doesn't know, look it up. It's a dedication. This is really personal for me though, because Ricky and I spoke the same language, like all you guys, the same subtleties, the same references to lyrics. There's a shorthand that you have with certain people that are huge fans, like we all are. And obviously we're all fans because every Saturday we're here. But it's a reminder also that life is short and that we're all students of life. And when we think we're a professor or we think we're knowledgeable, we get a daily lesson that says, oh, here's a little lesson for you. It's, people that shouldn't be go, and people leave in mid-sentence. And it's very tough when you realize that there's certain people you leave in the previous year. He got left in 2025. And sort of our job to kind of make sure we bring his spirit and bring his enthusiasm into the new year. And that's a tough one because you kind of forget. New Year's is, I wrote this on my Facebook page, but New Year's is a time that everybody kind of can collectively do something together. In our lives, we don't have too many things. We have all our little circles and our little pods and things like this. But New Year's is the thing we do everything. And when I realized that there's people that just got left in the year before, and some of our good people and good friends and good energy. And that's a big thing is I think we go through life and not always get the energy that we want. And Ricky was one of these guys that had good energy, and he has a good sense of humor about things. And I just know that when he was, when he'd be on the show, sometimes he was very late getting on the show. There were episodes that he'd show up late. I always thought it was kind of a running joke, and he was good about that. He was like, "Yep, I'm here finally," and I'll miss that. And I think a lot of people will miss his enthusiasm, his dedication. And I was looking through the notes of what we're going to be talking about today, and there's things about Madhouse in here that I want to talk about. And I know he'd be sitting there going, "Oh, I would have a comment about that," because he was, he was Mr. Madhouse in many ways. So anyway, I'm sad when you told me this. I'm glad you guys are talking about him for a little bit. I think he deserves that. And I think all you guys who knew him and watched him and enjoyed him understood him. That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Thanks, Duane. All right. So I won't talk very long because I don't know if I'll be able to get through this. Okay. Ricky was my oldest Prince friend. I can do a mic drop right there. That means so much to me. We met in high school. We met in Southwest DeKalb High School. For those of you who don't know, and if you listen to your Outcasts, you should know all about Southwest DeKalb. And Ricky was my friend. We had lunch together countless times, but one of my favorite memories of Ricky is he played the snare drum in the band, and one day he was practicing, and it was just me and him outside. Him practicing. I wanted to be in the band, but my parents wouldn't let me because I wanted to be like Sheila E. And so I got to live through Ricky, the drumming, and yes, Tanja, Swats. And Ricky was that friend that would always check up on me. He was always here for me. And I'm going to miss that. Because when Michael or Celie couldn't show up, Ricky would always pop up because he knew I wouldn't want to be alone. So he would be missed. And I love this comment from I'm so sad. I used to get so frustrated with Ricky and his mic. And now I would give anything to have him back just to say, fix your mic, Ricky. So that's all I'm going to say because this is a lot for me. And so I appreciate all of you with all of your kind words. About Ricky, he will be missed. He is loved. Yeah. And I also love this comment also from I'm So Sad. This is the reason why I think it's important that we put out in the universe what we want when it comes to Prince. And I've been saying this from day one. We're not going to be here forever. Some of the day ones are leaving, and there are certain things we want to hear. Yes, I'm selfish, but why not? Prince gave his life to us because he loved music. We love music. And Ricky really wanted a Madhouse box set. So I am going to do a Dear State moment. So Dear State, please put out a Madhouse box set for Ricky. That would be so cool. You could put in the Flush sessions, which we've been talking about, and we'll talk about this week. But it's Prince. It's Prince and Eric Leeds. And all of Prince needs to be introduced to the world. Madhouse is so incredible. Who lays down 4 tracks in one go? The drum beat, 4 tracks in one go. A lot of the world, they don't know it. So that's the reason why we ask these things, to make sure people know that Prince was loved and that so many of us love Prince, and Ricky was one of them. So that's the end of my Dear State moment. And with that being said,
The funky drum.
And the upcoming bass solo is for Ricky. So let's get this party started for year 4 of What Did Prince Do This Week? And we are now in 1986. This is a very slow read of Duane Tudahl's Prince Studio Sessions book series. And we're so delighted to have Duane join us as he does every year for the first episode. We're so grateful, Duane. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Yes. And I totally forgot with all of our year-end lists that I did not say that one of our very special guests was my Uncle Charles. So we got
Uncle Charles!
Yes. Wow thing.
Yeah.
It's his nickname. So I had to rectify that. We're going week to week, not date to date. And this is our new schedule. I'm just going to put in the slide deck from now on.
Nice.
Yes. So you don't have to go anywhere. And then you do not need the paperback version, but that's the one that has the most updated information. But you can be like Michael Dean and have the Old Testament.
MD, I gotta get you a copy of the new one, MD. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
No. I gotta get you that, man. You're putting in the time.
I'm lifting the weights, it's multi-purpose here.
Yes. Thank you all for the shout outs to Uncle Charles. Yes, you do. All right. And then let's get to the housekeeping with the quickness. And I got a new thing, a little animation here. Please subscribe.
Moving up like Jordan Weezy. Go ahead, girl.
I stole this from someone, so I didn't do it. But please like and subscribe and spread the word about Prince's work ethic, Duane's books. This is really important. So as Ricky would say, as you come on in, hit that like button. So please do that. And then if you want to get in touch with us, you can use this Gmail, WDPDTW, for Why Do People Dance This Weird? Thank you. All right. And the estate of Prince Rogers Nelson is not affiliated, associated, or connected with the What Did Prince Do This Week book club series. It is an independent endeavor. In our community guidelines, we choose to be a community even when we disagree. And we played one off of Madhouse 8.
Fantastic.
Yes, fantastic. In tribute to our dear Ricky, our pretty Ricky.
There we go.
And for those of you who don't know, Madhouse 8 in particular is just Prince on all instruments except for the horns. And that is our beloved Eric Leeds. So we are week 1. We're doing this all over again for the 4th time, Michael Dean. Woo! Yeah. And we are episode 153 of What We Do This Week.
Jeez. Wow.
Yes.
Dwayne?
I apologize, guys. I apologize for writing long books. My bad. I'll stop.
No, don't stop. Don't stop.
Yeah.
Yes,
Don't stop till you get enough.
There you go.
And one day I'll learn how to use StreamYard. So this week, and I'm just counting 1986 because this week actually is 1985 and 1986. So for the 1986 part of the week, we have 3 studio sessions and 2 new songs to start off. But you can see the last week of December, everybody was in the studio. More flesh sessions on Sunday and Monday, at least that's what I call them. And then Prince attended a Patti LaBelle performance in LA for New Year's Eve, which is kind of cool. I would love to be with Patti on New Year's Day. That was a good thing to do. And then on January 2nd, he recorded one of my favorite songs of all time that Prince has ever written, which is All Day, All Night. And he also mixed a version of the Kiss 12-inch. And then on Friday is Love and Sex version 2, because there's 2 different songs. There's Love and Sex from like the 1999 era. And then there's Love and Sex, this version, which is on the Sign of the Times Super Deluxe version and was going to be offered to Sheila. And then Tricky, Isn't the Times Tricky, but a working title for some score elements for Under Chairman. All right. Who do you want to provide some context, Dwayne, before we get started, or do you want us to start reading? What would you like to do?
Okay. I'm going to be winging this because I hadn't planned on this. Jeez. My seat is suddenly very hot. I guess during this time, Prince had stopped working on a number of things and gone back in the studio with Eric. I don't think there's a lot that happened in December other than Can I Play With You and things like that. But let me look. Let me look back and see this. Just looking real quick. Okay, I'm sorry. There was stuff in December. I'm sorry, there was. But this is when he started doing the Flesh stuff, and the Flesh stuff was his venture back into like jazz. And some people say, oh, he learned jazz at this time. I don't think so. His dad was a jazz player, so I want to make sure people recognize that his dad was around and he probably had the language in his head. So what he was doing is bringing in for some of the sessions, Sheila, Levi, Eric. Other sessions with Wendy, Lisa, and things like that. And I think to me, the Flesh stuff, just so you know, is some of the coolest stuff he's done. There's something about him in free form that's just very listenable. And I wish they would do something. I do agree. I don't know if I would put the Flesh on a Madhouse box set personally. I would make a Flesh box set myself, and my Madhouse box set would be 8, 16, probably 24, and maybe 26. But 26, a lot of it ended up being Eric's solo stuff. But I think that and also there's outtakes, there's B-sides, there's things like this that I think could have been on a cool box set. I think that and I agree. I would love to see that. I would love to see a Madhouse box set. I think that And Dee, you and I have talked about this for years, I think,
Yes.
probably for the first time we actually met. We've been talking about a Madhouse box set. But this is what's cool about this era is this is when he's kind of just free-forming, and he's sort of in many ways auditioning Levi, auditioning Sheila, auditioning Eric to be in his band, because within a few months of this, that's his band. And so I think that's interesting, because I think Wendy and Lisa even say that they feel like it was kind of an audition for that, and that they were going to be shifted over and the new people coming in. And at the time I was not happy with the fact that the revolution was going away, but you realize, and you look in retrospect, this is Prince. He had to constantly change and constantly evolve. And as painful as that could be in times we miss people, this is him. And it's like anybody with the relationships and things like this. You move on, you get a new girlfriend, new boyfriend, new husband, new wife, and you just expand that. And certain people go off to the side. And I don't think that that doesn't dishonor the people that were there before, because if you're on stage with him, that's a big thing. And he chose you to be there. But there's a time when he goes, okay, you know what? I've gotten all I can out of this buffet. I want to go to another buffet. And that's what this is, sort of the sample taste of. This leads to Madhouse, especially Madhouse 16, because Madhouse 16 would not be, there's a lot of Madhouse 16 with Sheila, Levi, Eric, and Prince. That's half of Madhouse 16. And Eric's first album is the leftovers from Madhouse 16. So this Flesh stuff is important because it lays the groundwork for the next 2 or 3 years of music he's doing. So that's the context, I would say.
So I have a comment and a question. First comment, I'm glad, Brother Tudahl, you put it that way. And I never really thought about it that way, as somebody for me who like saw Prince kind of like as a solo artist and then going into some things. But when you put it about like, and this will be for people who are like 35 and older. And if you're not under 35, you won't get this because you've probably never been in this situation. But my wife and I have been in situations where old friends get remarried and we have to meet the new spouse. And it's really awkward the first time they come over, and it's like, well, who do you invite? Especially if you like the old spouse, like, or if you're in a situation, you're like, and it's people choosing sides, and it's, it doesn't always have to be dysfunctional, but it is interesting. It is kind of, because we all want to be human beings. So when you put it that way, it is really interesting that for me to now think about it in real time that way, to where while I wasn't, say, as moved as a lot of people when Prince would move on, you did find yourself having certain favorites. Like I'll be honest, I had different, first time I saw the Game Boys, I was like, who the F is this? And then the first time they weren't there anymore, I was like, damn, the stage looked empty. So it's like, it's just kind of funny how your mind, like people you might not like in the beginning, but then like, and so, yeah, so I'm just really glad that you put it that way, because it makes it more human, if that makes sense. Sure. And then, so now my question to you, and then basically to the three of y'all, thinking about, carrying out this conversation with Brother Rick about Madhouse. I'm thinking about how you promote it. And my question would be, with one of the ways, because you're doing pre-promotion as you're doing, packaging and all of that, what do you think about one of the ways of promoting a Madhouse? But I'm gonna let y'all handle what would be in the box set, because y'all are more knowledgeable. But what do you think about, say, promoting a Madhouse box set by, before it goes to the public, identifying like jazz greats and jazz scholars and doing something around it, giving that, saying, hey, here was a part of Prince that people didn't know. What do you jazz people and jazz scholars and those kind of people think about that as a way of kind of pre-promoting How Quick? There's just something I'm throwing out to see what y'all would think about that. I'll shut up.
When you were saying that, well, I want to say one thing, and then I'm going to respond to you, Celie. So I am definitely with Tayasafi. I always thought of Times Squared as, I know there's a Madhouse 24, but for me, in my own little heart, Times Square was always Madhouse 24. So I think it would be brilliant if Times Square, if there was ever a Madhouse box set, if Times Square could also be included on a Madhouse box set. That's just me. So that's one thing. in terms of your comments, Celie, I think it's brilliant. You know what I would love? So there is last year, there was a Lee Morgan, it might have been the year before last. So Lee Morgan is one of my favorite jazz trumpeters. And they reissued one of his albums, and I can't remember which one, but then they had current jazz musicians play those songs. So like there was a vinyl release, and then there was a CD where all of like these amazing current jazz musicians actually did all of these Lee Morgan songs. So I could see something similar where there's a Madhouse box set release, and then have, like people like Robert Glasper or, the new kids on the block reinterpret some of this the Madhouse material. I think it would be brilliant. So that would be one thing. The other thing is, a lot of us didn't get to see Madhouse live because Madhouse opened for Prince in Europe. And that is like one of the travesties of, well, actually, I take that back. Because we got the Sign of the Times film, and I don't think we would get the Sign of the Times film if he would have toured the States. I'm actually okay that he did tour the States or Sign of the Times, because I love me some Sign of the Times live, because I couldn't believe it dropped out of the sky last year. It really, I don't know, gave me, it just like, it filled my tank up. My tank was very low, and that Sign of the Times live on IMAX was everything last year. So I think it would be fantastic if Eric, and I know he would not want to do this, but if Eric and Levi and Dr. Fink and Dale, if he's still around, to do some proper Madhouse, a tribute to kick off the set, and then maybe have some of the other people, like like Christian McBride, like all these amazing jazz people to really come in. So that's what I would love.
Can I add something real quick for that? I agree with the Sign of Times film. I mean, to me, it was fun seeing that. We talked about that before. I actually think he probably still would have done a Sign of Times film. Just looking at Syracuse, the parade thing with the June 7th. You have Love Sexy. I feel like toward the end of every tour during time, he was doing some sort of visual reference to this. So it wouldn't have shocked me if he decided to do something. It wouldn't have been the same. It might have been on video, might have been, a worldwide broadcast like he'd done with Syracuse. So I think there would have been something that came out of that. But I agree with that. I love the movie. And it's a great document to what it was, even though it's largely set up at Paisley, but it's still worth it. And in fact, most of it, a lot of it's overdubbed. I'm still loving it. It doesn't matter, whereas, but I was thinking about that recently, thinking, well, for a while he was really putting something out, even with Tokyo at New Tour. So he did something for each one of these things in a way that he wanted to, he was like, the tour may be over because I'm tired, but I want you guys to see this. And so I think he might have continued. I wish he would tour the States. It was a tour that I wanted to see bad. So,
that when you bring up the point that, it's a performance video, they're lip syncing to the audio track, but it comes off as if it is live. I mean, the energy of it is so magnetic. You think it's live. I think it's a rare talent that there's only a few who can do that and almost trick the audience, because the passion and the energy is it seems so spontaneous. I can't even say the word spontaneous. Excuse me. You think that is live, and I think the only other person, I do say this is Michael Jackson, a Motown or something like that. I did not know at that time he wasn't actually not singing the songs, and just everything he was doing, I'm blown away. And the same with Prince. I did not know he's not singing the songs in the movie.
He might have been. Here's the thing: he might have been singing them because he did that live. I mean, if you look at what was the thing, the VH1 Awards, that was in September of that year, and that was literally the audio track was just everything else except for Prince, and then Prince and his guitar. So I would not be shocked if his vocals were live in the Sign of the Times movie. It wouldn't shock me. I don't know for sure whether or not they were.
I will add to that point. There's a very bad edit in the film. If you notice, the end of It's Gonna Be a Beautiful Night, Prince has dropped the microphone. They had to recut it with him coming back to the microphone saying, "Thank you, good night." And I was always like, so that opens the door to there could have been some other singing and playing, because I just always remember like, hey,
well, I mean, you can look at the outtakes video.
Yeah,
right.
Obviously, they're doing it over and over and over for the shots. But I mean, just the point is to say is that they're that good that it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Its own
it's
thing.
Great. It's great. And the band had it down. The band, I mean, they just got off a tour, so they knew exactly what to do. And it's a strong band. I mean, those guys are just amazing.
And I know because I want to just come back. I wanted to get back to just to hear both of you guys, brother Tudahl and brother Dean, about what do you think would be a good way to kind of promote Madhouse and get folks so that folks outside of our orbit would know. And then I get to brother Turnbull. I'm sorry.
I really like your idea. To be honest, I guess I would probably be like, and I think I take a little bit of what D'Angelo was saying is, I think a performance with the guys that are that today, sort of having them interpret it to give it more awareness. But I just think personally, the whole box set thing I love, but I think they should just do that for us. I don't think that's something to even worry about trying to get just big awareness. I just feel like when people fall into Prince, whenever they fall into, you see these videos online, kids are falling into Prince every day, picking it up. And I would imagine the whole Stranger thing is going to bring other people in. I just want it to be there when they start to go through when they go to Spotify or Apple Music, wherever they are, and they start to see all the Prince albums, and you're just like, yo, this guy's got, and then there's like the other section, and it's the jazz, and they're just like, yo, like he's got jazz records. Let me check some of that out, because it's already going to be overwhelmingly crazy with just his normal catalog. But the fact that they'll be able to see that is there, and then for the kids who are musicians or bubbling, I think that will blow their mind to see like, hey, there's this guy. He was like this pop star. I know him from Purple Rain and was on some pop culture thing. But then I saw he had some badass kind of jazz type. Like I don't even listen to that type of music, but this ain't, this is bad. I just wanted to just be there for them to discover it. We're going to buy it because it's for us. We were the only ones who bought it when it came out back then, right? It wasn't known to the general public anyway. So I don't have a problem with them not necessarily knowing about it, but I just want us to be able to have it. So that would be for me.
All right. So we want to welcome to the stage my dear brother, Author Duane. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I didn't know Duane Tudahl was going to be here. I didn't know Michael Dean was going to be on. Sometimes Mike drops in and out. I brought my required reading.
You're a little hot, brother. I don't know if it's just me.
Yeah,
it might be.
It's loud.
How about this? Better?
No.
Still, bring it down.
I like to stay on brand.
Let me turn my shit. Let me get on your level.
1 2 1 2.
It's like
you want up now.
Yeah, it's like even worse now.
1 2 3 4.
Better.
Keep going.
That's
okay.
Better.
Better? Still better?
Yeah.
Still better?
Yeah, I
Still
think
better?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for letting me disrupt the entire flow of what everyone was talking about.
It's very Ricky. So thank you.
It is very Ricky. It is very Ricky. And if I could, just very quickly, because we do miss brother. We did lose him. My favorite Ricky memory was one that I was not a part of, but could have been had I not been at Whole Foods at the time. D'Angelo had a great hours long conversation with Jesse Johnson some years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And Ricky was on that call, and there was a beautiful segment where Ricky was in his kitchen making dinner, and you could hear the oven open and closing. You could hear him moving the racks. You could hear him tearing foil, all in the midst of Jesse Johnson giving this brilliant account of he and Prince.
Don't forget the microwave.
And the microwave beeps.
The microwave.
Oh, wow. I believe it was the part where Jesse was talking about how he and Prince were driving down Sunset Boulevard listening to Sly Stones. There's a riot going on.
Damn. Ooh.
And it was 1000% Ricky. And you could hear D'Angelo saying,
Ricky?
Ricky, we can hear you. We can. Your mic's live. We can hear you. Oh, for real? My bad.
There was a riot going on in his house.
Yes.
Damn.
Yes.
Jeez.
Yes. So I'm happy to unintentionally bring that energy into the talk.
Thank you, so much, Arthur. Thank you for that memory. I was so mad.
She was livid.
So mad.
Livid.
Oh.
But now I love it. That's when. Yeah,
I mean, and Rick had got comfortable. Like he was like, "Oh hell, Justin talking to me." It's about 70.
Right. I'm getting warm just thinking about him being in the kitchen.
That was thank you. I forget. Yeah. Ricky shared that audio with me. That was hilarious. And like you said, you could hear probably stuff like, Ricky, could you mute your mic, please?
Oh no. We were way beyond that. We were way beyond this. This was Ricky. We can hear you.
Yeah.
So now that you can hear me, I hope to be able to contribute to this august body of folks. I was in the audience, so I went to see Stranger Things, the last episode, in theaters.
Oh wow.
New Year's Day, 9:30 a.m. was the time. So my family and I, we rolled in there, and I have to say that we went pretty much dark. My 17-year-old had a.
Brother Turnbull, can you do me just a quick favor? I have no idea what Stranger Things are. The only time I first heard of Stranger Things was when I saw somebody on YouTube say Prince's music is in there. So could you just 30 seconds of tell folks like me, because I still don't know what it is, just
Got
what
you.
Things is, and then go back to explain.
Sure.
I knowing Prince's music was in it, I have no idea what it is. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Stranger Things is a supernatural multi-part tale of nostalgic 80s horror, science fiction, telekinesis, storytelling. And it centers around a group of 4 boys and their love of Dungeons and Dragons. They're outcasts at their elementary school. They're geeks, they're nerds, they're teased and such, and one of their friends of the core group, one of their friends goes missing, and he's taken by this supernatural power. And in the midst of that, the 3 boys that are remaining meet a girl named 11, and she is a experiment of a mad scientist, and then there extends to a government conspiracy and more supernatural phenomena. And the beauty is that it takes place in an unknown town in the middle of Indiana, the most unlikeliest of places. I assume down the street from Pawnee, where Parks and Rec took place, the Amy Poehler brilliant television show. So throughout the 5 seasons, you get a ton of reasonably accurate, but pretty much kind of like fluid of the timeline and when it takes place. But it starts in 83, and then we tree up over the years. But you get, mall culture, and you get, teenage girl culture, and you get daddy issues culture, and you just get all this energy in the backdrop of 80s. Even the typeface is very 80s Stephen King-esque. Christine, Firestarter, all of that. And so I believe, in fact, I know that season 4, one of the extended characters that came along, who's a loner and a bit of an outcast herself, plays video games and wears her Walkman. And one of the recurring songs that we hear in the show is running up that hill from Kate Bush. And that became a TikTok streaming Gen Z phenomenon, literally out of nowhere. So in the same vein, what we're beginning to see is the song Purple Rain, the song When Doves Cry, Purple Rain as an album spike up in the same manner that Kate Bush's song did the year before. So without giving any spoilers away for those that haven't seen the episode, the last episode, the use of this, really the use of side 2 of the record in the plot, in the storyline, I thought was really considered. I kind of hate this expression, but I can't think of a more intelligent one, but tastefully done within context of what was happening. A little bit genius, and kind of stayed in context, even though the final episode takes place in 1987. The character that actually rigs this plan, in which side 2 of the Purple Rain album plays a part of, is, he's a 40-something-year-old guy who would have been born in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, probably would have been in the late 40s, early 50s. So it's contextually accurate that a character like that would have Purple Rain and would put that record on. So I knew that when Prince's catalog, changed hands and ownership split between different record companies and different banks and different entities, that we would kind of begin to hear Prince music in commercials, on the escalator at Target, and these kinds of things that to us that really live deep below the surface, and the people that showed up to even hear us talk about this, might find offensive at best and an abomination at worst. I didn't feel that way. It was no more cringy than it would have been, just in the circumstance of, yeah, you're just gonna start hearing Prince music. But at the end of the day, this is what we really want, right? Like, I am super Gen X. I was born in 1971. You can't get much more Gen X than our group. And we're at the age where Prince has moved to, he's moved from your favorite musician, to your favorite musician's favorite musicians. He's moved generations now. And every time you move generations like that, you get that much more removed from what's current, right here. And having his music, even if it is Purple Rain, which it's in reality it would have to be, because we know 1986 particularly is when Prince really moved on. I thought it was fitting, very apropos for the theme of the show, how the theme of the show has always been in all the 5 seasons. And again, it's really what we want. It's really what we want. We want him to be in the current conversation. Hey, Karen. Yes, 1971. You really can't get much more generous than that. And so I miss Ricky's commentary on this, because he would. I want to say I feel like he would agree with me, but I kind of feel like he would have a twist on why we might not want it that way. He wasn't really much of a contrarian in our discussion, but he always had a very unique take.
I would say on Ricky's behalf, with this, I don't know, I guess, do we think about the door that this opens? And this is not the first time his music has been used in pop culture and things of that nature. But I just wonder, like, and this one went very well. It seems like. I'm just curious, like, then the next few ones, what if it's maybe it's not a beloved thing or something, but it was a great deal. You know, it got the music out there to a different audience. I guess the question is sometimes which audiences is it? You know, when do they? Where do you draw the line with that? So I'm just curious, and I'm not necessarily against it. I'm already past the point of what would he have thought of that? You know, that part of the career. Or that part of the consciousness, we're already beyond that. We wouldn't be getting these box sets if we thought like that. So I'm fine with that. You know, I'm just curious, like, I'm curious to see what it becomes. You know, what does Prince become moving forward? Because it's always gonna be this for us. We're gonna maintain that, and I love that. But to the rest of the world, I wonder will it be how I used to view Sly Stone as a kid. I didn't know anything about it, but I heard those songs just in pop culture during different movies and things, and it was years before I actually knew who that person was, and became a fan of it. And maybe I
laid the groundwork for you.
It did lay the groundwork, absolutely. But I wonder if his hardcore fans would have shunned me because I only knew the popular, you know, song. I didn't know the deeper albums and all. I didn't know what a riot. I didn't know what that meant. I just knew Family Affair or something. You know what I mean?
But you know now, though, right?
I know now. So, you know,
and what caused you to dive in? What caused you to dive further?
My love of Prince.
And I think that's what it's going to take, because I think that all of us have stories where we had like my album was Miles Davis' Bitches Brew. I always saw Bitches Brew in the house. My parents split up when I was younger, but each one of them had a copy, which meant that one of the two had to buy the additional copy, right? But they never played it. It's like they never played it. I never heard it in the house, you know, and it was almost like an album that because you even had it in your possession, actually spoke to what kind of person you were. Like you were like up on things,
right?
You know, and but it wasn't until I was in my
just to cut you. I can see Prince becoming that. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Having Purple Rain for kids may be that,
or 1999, or the Gold Experience.
They made like I've seen bits and pieces of Purple Rain. I've seen that album because that album is so ubiquitous to me, like maybe Superfly was, but I never listened to it. But I knew the imagery of Superfly album. Right. I wonder if for them, the Purple Rain may be that sort of thing, and then it would spawn them to get into something else later.
Right.
Anyway,
I agree. No, I agree. I think a gateway thing is there's so many times that I knew who Mavis Staples was, but when Prince started playing with Mavis, it reminded me and made me want to go back and think, what's that? So I think it's a great gateway for that. And I think that shows like this can be a good thing. And we were just talking about how you'd promote a Madhouse thing. I would add to that, I would say, have Madhouse songs in shows. If you have a Madhouse song as a theme song for a show.
That would,
You know, I mean, there's ways to do that. I think somebody could even make a whole movie on just using Madhouse music as the music for the movie.
You know where I see it? It would be like the next Dave Chappelle or Chris Rock special, and they use the Madhouse as
that is a great one. That is a great see that kind of stuff. I would also say Prince. There should be the Prince channel back on Sirius.
Yes.
To me, when you're promoting anything, that to me should be the first call that gets made. Is let's set this up for that month and make it so that we have, because not everybody has Sirius, but those who have it tune to that. And that's the other thing. The other thing is, if you're doing a Madhouse box set, I meant to say I would have the Hard Life movie in there, because even though it's a goof, it is a variation. Of
you gotta have it.
Yeah, so it just seems like that would be an obvious one for that to me, and the Madhouse video. So,
Duane, the last thing you said.
What's that?
I didn't hear you.
Oh, and throw a Hard Life movie in there, and throw the Madhouse videos in there as well.
Oh, the videos, yeah.
And I would also maybe even put some of the Madhouse live, from the Science Live tour. Just get sound. So like 5-6 songs, have that in there so you can see. And that may not be Prince. There's always the rumor that he played on 1 or 2 live that he was backstage playing. I haven't found that out yet, but if I do, it'll be the next book.
And all the pictures from the photo shoots that we did.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot that could be on there, and I think there's a lot of ways to promote it. But I really think if you're going to do the Stranger Things type thing, have that in there. I remember back in the years ago, we were talking about thinking it should be the Prince stuff should be on Glow, which was a series on Netflix that took place in the 80s, on Stranger Things, on things like that I think any shows like that could have it. I mean, when they did what was the show that did the Prince Night?
The
was
dance.
Blackish? Was it Blackish or what was it?
Blackish, yeah,
Oh,
Blackish.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
That was
yeah.
cool. That was, and again, it got people talking. People were all of a sudden saying, "Hey, this is something that And my daughter is 16. She doesn't know for Prince. She knows a couple songs, and that's it. But I would love to have something that hits on her level because she watches Stranger Things, and she always just says, "I'm a Prince nerd," which is accurate. But still, it would be nice to have something that kind of shares it in a way that is not intrusive, but it's like, oh, now I can associate this with something like that, and I'll go back deeper. I went back to JB deeper when I started learning more about him. Things like this. I knew all the hits, but then I started hearing something. I'm going, oh, this sounds like something I'd want to explore, and finding ways to make it so that it's intriguing to people. That's what I would do. So
I want to combine something Brother Turnbull said with local art. You don't have to put the comment up if you want, but when Brother Turnbull said this is what you want, this is I'm glad you said that, Brother Turnbull, because I was one of those people who kind of felt like local art, like I'm Mr. I'm so sick of Purple Rain showing up everywhere. Like that's just who I am. I'm just who I am. But so when again, I didn't know what Stranger Things was. I just saw something on YouTube, and then I think that at some point though, the way you said it, Brother Turnbull, is really cool. It's like, okay, so do you want people to know some of Prince or none of Prince? Right. And I think that at the end of the day, I have to at least get on the train and be cool with, let's let people know some of Prince, and then those who want to go on and explore further. So I have to admit that having this conversation with y'all and just for whatever reason, when you said that, brother, it finally hit differently with me, because I really do think I was setting myself up to beat up. Well, I don't think they were the any Prince. That's literally in my narrow kind of thinking, like the hell with them peasants. They don't need, I was like, no, there's no the hell with them peasants when it comes to art. There's no, so I think that I have to learn to be more, what's what I want to, grateful that somebody knows something, right, about Prince, as opposed to people knowing nothing about him. I'll say,
And if the Purple Rain stuff is the bait we have to use to get people, to hook people, it makes sense. And, you open that door, there's a whole room in there, but if that's the door people have to go through, okay. I mean, we're so used to this stuff. I mean, I know everybody says I don't want to have another Purple Rain box set or whatever it is. I kind of do. I mean, I want to hear more, and if this brings more people in, I don't mind. And when I see somebody with a Purple Rain shirt and people get complaining because that person never watched Purple Rain, let's do it. I don't care. If that's what it takes to get them intrigued, I'm okay with it. It doesn't matter. I've been to the party for years. I don't want to get mad at somebody who arrives at the party late. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that. People aren't always my age. They haven't always had my experiences, and so I'm okay with whatever it takes to get them in here.
And I remember the quote from the song when he said, "You wouldn't have drank my coffee if I didn't serve you cream." So if Purple Rain is the cream, then fine. Come on in and drink the rest of the coffee. That's it.
And there's nothing wrong if that's the only coffee they choose to drink.
Right.
They got their blessing. It touched them, and they live in their life. Same way for me. I didn't know a lot about Ricky, but what I did get, it's right here. It means a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? So to me, the same way. If you heard Prince's music, how you heard it, and that's all you needed, that's cool.
If I could just add on to that, because I mean, I do believe that. I stand behind it. Prince himself never rejected Purple Rain. He took it through all of his career. He put the 3-4 platinum disc on the Artificial Age album. I did a whole talk about how the musicology era, Purple Rain was a draw for that. It'd be like a whole card that he would play. But I think there's a difference between the acceptance that Seeley brought up, that I brought up, is one thing, but just the that's all we're going to get and I should just be satisfied with it is another thing. And I do get tired of, well, here's the Purple Rain picture disc reissue that we did 4 years ago. Here's the, you know, the 360 gram vinyl of Purple Rain that, you know, there are only 1,200 copies of, and it's been, you know, spit polished. It's just that one album that gets elevated to the highest point when there are other albums that should be elevated as high. And that's where it starts to break down, like, you know, for me personally. And I wonder, I mean, listen, I've never run an estate. I've never had to curate a catalog. I've never had to protect a legacy of a global artist. But I am the guy that always screams, it's not that hard. You need a fan in the room to be able to tell the group that do decide what's important, what isn't. And, or at least that is important, but it's been important for a little while. This is a big deal too. And sometimes I don't think that a fan is in the room that is able to identify why some of these things are important. And just the locked in era of 84 and the edge of 87 is what gets the biggest push. Or you fast forward 20 years and it's the musicology, immediate post-musicology era at the twilight of his career. And you miss these middles.
Right.
And it's these middles that are really, really, really unmined. I mean, Duane just sat up here and named like 3-4 things.
Right.
That aren't the paramount thing, but they add to the greater context of some of these releases that could be put out. Rumors are rumors, but I heard one that said, hey, there's not going to be a Parade Super Deluxe Edition. It's going to be a similar thing like it was for Around the World in a Day. Maybe that's true, maybe that isn't. But if it's not true, I think that's a problem. I was the one that got all bent out of shape over the flood of material they got on Sign of the Times that I thought, well, wait a minute, isn't some of this stuff, you know, Parade area? Is there some kind of demarcation, you know, that happens? And, you know, and I was right. but I mean, I'm just saying, you know, I mean, to my point, it's gotta be hard. It's gotta be hard. I know I just said it's not that hard, but I'm saying it's gotta be hard to do this kind of curation. It's gotta be hard to do this type of decision making, particularly when there's so many different corporate entities and financial institutions that may be involved in the operation aspect of it. But to always go with what you know is going to work. And in this context, it turns out to be Purple Rain. I think it ultimately does a disservice. And it does breed this apathy of, well, you know, that's what we're going to get. I mean, maybe it'll be purple again, but that's all we're going to get.
And so that I agree. I would also would add kind of what I say a lot of times too is I think a lot of us don't understand that we have more agency than we actually think we do. When I say we have more agency, when you look at I'm glad they set up this. When you look at the people on this panel, look at that. Look. I want you to look at the 4 people that's on that panel, and then I want to add the 4 people on that panel. Think about Sneak's brilliant docuseries that he has on YouTube. And so one of the things I want to think about the 4 people on this panel, the 4 people that's in that panel playing Sneak's brilliant documentary, that what I think a lot of people should be doing is supplementing what the estate is doing. That is not so much like we want to support the estate, but also I've always said that there are enough scholars out here, there are enough people out here that we can also, here's my example. I end on this example. William Faulkner was a forgotten writer, right? Nobody knew who William Faulkner was. He was out of print. Now, it's almost impossible to get a degree in English without knowing something about William Faulkner. And it didn't have anything to do with his estate. It had to do with one scholar, this one human being, decided that William Faulkner was too great to be forgotten. That this dude wrote paper after paper, went around to universities, went around, right? How many of us can be what that scholar did to William Faulkner, can be that other person to supplement what the estate is doing? You could be the person to say, no, the gold experience is too great for people to forget. Exodus is too great. So I always want to kind of give agency back, that we want to support the estate, but I also want to think about people saying that podcast juice, right? The stuff that Brother Turnbull and Prof Duff was doing, right? I just want the stuff that, you know, let's be clear. The estate didn't go to Brother Tudahl and said, we like for you to write these books. And no. Brother Tudahl decided this stuff is great. It deserves half of my life, right? And I'm going to donate half of my life. And I think that we have to, when I think we can do two things. We can say, hey, we can support the estate. We can also say to the estate, we want more. But I think looking at those 4 people on the panel and looking at Brother Saniq and all those other people, we can all, because I just want to go back. I always go back to that pie chart. The estate won't be able to carry all them slices. That's the part I think that Brother Tudahl like. There are so many slices in Prince's pie chart. And so what I say to everybody is, hey, pick one of those slices in the pie chart. And I know this is a bad example. Pick one of the slices in the pie chart and be like the Jehovah's Witness. Got some gold experience today, just like the Jehovah's Witness at your door. Hey, you got some gold experience today, got some Exodus today. And I think by doing all of that, we can help supplement the estate and help people know this vast array of what Prince is. I'll shut up.
All right. And with that being said, we got a lot to get through for What's Prince this week.
I brought my book.
All right, Arthur. Since you got your book, we're going to read about Sunday, December 29th.
Lord.
We
had a whole service before the.
Just want to say, thank you, Brother Burnett. Thank you, Brother Burnett. I would have been. I'd have felt
guest
so
preacher
bad.
or something else, ain't it?
Brother Burnett. Thank you. For those who don't know, Zero Neil Hurston would have been unknown had it not been for Alice Walker preserving Zora Neale Hurston's career. Thank you, Brother Burnett. All right, I said, let's get to the text. Let's get to the word.
That was the warm up, y'all. Amen.
And look, hey, Brother Dean. Kim done quit. She done walked out. She damn.
It's one of them ones, Kim. Sorry.
What's the date?
It's Sunday, December.
What chapter?
Sunday, December 29.
Is that in the preface?
Page 265 on the paperback.
Oh Lord, the paperback! Come on, y'all! I got the hardcovers. Y'all did this to me last time.
Team hardcover.
That's the reason why I'm giving you the date.
Yeah. Go to Sunday, December 29th.
Okay, we're gonna come back to Arthur until when
yes.
he that. So
it's all right.
Michael,
it's not my fault.
We're gonna give you some grace. All right, Sunday, December 29th. All right, this session was collectively called Paisley Jam. Called Paisley Jam included Madrid, horns, overdubs, mix. I'm gonna just say Slaughterhouse, Breathless, Just Can't Stop, Run Amok, 12 Keys. Didn't we read this last week?
No.
Oh, okay. 12 Keys, early version of The Question of You.
So this is a continuation of Saturday, which he started all of these. Yeah.
And then High Colonic Mobile. This was Sunset's Sound Studio 3, 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. Okay. Book Lockout. Producer Prince, artist Prince / The Flesh, engineer Coke Johnson, assistant engineer Alexander Waverly, likely. Quote, no quote.
We always read Eric Leeds.
Okay. The next night I came in and I was there on my own. He just gave me the studio and said, put overdubs on them. So I just messed around with them and just put a whole lot of flute and saxophone overdubs and made some sections work on some other things, Eric Leeds. After 2 hours of rough mixes, Eric recorded his overdubs until 11:30 that evening. 4 TDKC 90 tapes were created of the session, one of them likely for Prince, as he wasn't in the studio for most of this date.
All right. I have to say something in case Ivan or who started off watches this, and he will only get it. Or if you listen to all the Grown Folks Music podcasts, the flute. That's all I'm going to say, the flute. And Ivan will know what I'm talking about. All right. Does anybody want to say anything about these songs that weren't here? I'm looking at you, Duane, Arthur, that wasn't here last week. Or do you want to move forward?
Let's move forward. This is just a mix. I mean, this is just an overdub mix to me. Okay. I mean, we got a lot to cover, and we've already eaten. Looking at the clock there, an hour and a half. Yeah, out of a 2-hour show.
All right. Okay. So, Arthur, unmute yourself. I've been muting you just because sometimes there's an echo, even though your mic sounds great. It's an echo with other people.
Okay.
So, December 30th.
Okay. Song list: A Couple of Miles, horn, overdub mix, jams, title for multiple tracks, including Villanova Junction, also known as Voodoo. So Villanova Junction tracking, sax overdubs, rough mix. Next song, Gimme Your Most Strongest Whiskey, also known as Finest Whiskey, tracking, sax overdubs, rough mix. Love to You, also known as Damn, tracking mix. You Gotta Shake Something, listed as Shake Something, tracking overdub mix. This was that Sunset Sound. The quote: I know that we did a lot of material, man, but the one I remember most is You Gotta Shake Something. Levi Caesar Jr.
Now, you skipped the time because the time is really important today.
Forgive me. So this was at Sunset Sound in Studio 3 from 1 in the afternoon to 5 the next morning. It was a booked lockout. Prince was the producer. The artists were Prince, The Flesh, and engineers Dr. Susan Rogers, of course, and Coke Johnson. Read the text?
Yep.
Okay. Like the previous day, this session began with 8 hours of Eric overdubbing several of the tracks they previously recorded, as well as A Couple of Miles. We actually did some more jams on the 30th, remembers Eric. Sheila and Levi came in later that day, and we did some other jams that I called Voodoo Who, Most Strongest Whiskey, and You Gotta Shake Something. And that was Sheila, Prince, and Levi, and myself.
Skip the next paragraph and go to They Would Just Turn on the Tape.
They would just turn the tape on and play, observed Eric's brother, Alan Leeds. They were really quite improvisational. Out of that came some riffs. Somebody would come up with a lead line or a melody, and Prince would say, "That's good, keep playing that." And they'd improvise on it. We were just having fun for like 12 minutes, remembers Levi. Man, it was cool.
So read the first paragraph, but not the second one.
Okay. He can write 10 songs in a day. He starts off by jamming on stuff, and then he's like, okay, let's go somewhere else with it. And I'll record a different bass line. And we even made, they're not really mistakes because I dropped out, because I was giving it like 16 bars of space. And he's like, Levi, why you stop? Keep going. It's a lot of things like that. You're not sexy. When he says you're not sexy, it's like, no, I don't like that. Come back in, stay right there. It was fun, man. Keep going.
Yep.
Caesar continues.
Nope. Skip that one and go to Voodoo Who.
See, that's why I asked.
Well, I said
I know you did. I just wanted to, you switching it up. I mean, you told me hardcover. I got my book. You got paperback.
Got my popcorn.
Right. Watching the show. Voodoo Who was a.
This is what the grown folks radio show was like. For those of you who don't know, get them old bootleg tapes. You can see all this in the story.
Man, listen. Voodoo Who was a cover of Villanova Junction by Jimi Hendrix. Prince also included some lyrics from Sade's 1985 song, Is It a Crime? Voodoo Who was just a real loose jam with Prince on guitar and piano, Sheila on drums, Levi on bass, and myself, remembers Eric. Just the four of us. Give Me Your Strongest Whiskey is also a cover, originally recorded by Denise LaSalle for her album Love Talkin'. It was written by George Jackson and Denise LaSalle, and she'd released it as a single earlier in the year. The band also worked on a song called Damn, which also has Prince in a playful, instructive mood, telling Levi when to play the bass, letting Eric know what instruments he should be using for overdubs, and referring to the band as James Black and the Whites, a variation of the New York band James White and the Blacks. Several musical elements from Damn, as well as the James Black White reference, repeated as Jimmy instead of James, would find their way into You Gotta Shake Something. After 5.5 hours of recording, the last 2.5 hours were spent on a few overdubs and mixing the day's tracks. 4 TDK C60 cassettes were created of the music from that session. It's doing status. We good? See, I'll be checking in.
yes,
Okay.
Go ahead.
Status. You Gotta Shake Something, 15 minutes and 20 seconds. Villanova Junction, 5 minutes, 31 seconds. Give Me Your Most Strongest Whiskey, 1:14. And the 7-minute jam called Love to You, also referred to as Damn, all remained unreleased during Prince's lifetime.
Yo, can I say something here? Real quick?
Yes.
You got to shake something. You got to shake something.
That's the one.
I remember the first time I heard that. I want to say it was on. What was it? It was a bootleg called Studio Nights. Well, I remember that was one of the ones that I loved. It was a box set, and it had that on there. That was one of them Prince songs when I heard one of those unreleased songs. When I heard it, I just stopped, and it became one of my all-time favorites. Like, to me, you have to hear that song. I don't even care if it's ever like officially released, but it's out there, and it's just one of them ones where it's a jewel. Like, you'll be like, damn, this is happy, this is funky, it's long, it's raw, and I just think it's one of it's just incredible. You have to hear it, man. It's, to me, it's like you get to hear that band just jamming and having fun. You can hear the fun, and you hear the jokes, you hear Prince clowning, and just all of it, man. And to hear that it's just Levi, Prince, Eric. I think that's it. Is that it?
Sheila.
I'm sorry, Sheila. Fantastic. So what I want y'all to do, hopefully it'll be on the playlist. I don't care. Don't pause the show, but after this over, you can just go search on YouTube and sit back and listen to this if you haven't heard it before. It's absolutely fantastic. That's all I want to say. And the last thing I'll say, you mentioned that Prince threw in a little bit of Sade into it. That was wasn't it? Did I ever hear there's like some story about Sade came to Paisley Park or something? Is that a false story? I remember, I thought I read something online years ago. I was like, yeah, it was a one time when Sade came and it was just her and Prince in there. It maybe it didn't happen. Maybe it did. I wanted to say that it happened because in my mind, I would be like, damn, the Kim Basinger recordings and all that. I want to hear whatever happened with Sade and Prince, because Lord have mercy. If they would have had came out with something back then, it'd been all over for me. But anyway, that's all I want to say.
You're talking about, sorry, you're talking.
Can I say just one thing? That this is where we're going to miss Ricky, because Ricky would know. Just FYI. Go ahead, Duane.
Yeah, the only Sade thing I can think of is the inspiration he had for that one song, SST. Is that what it was? That was That's the only thing I can think of. That's something that comes to mind. But yeah, you're talking about Shake Something. You know, the whole, you were listening to WOOL, your alternative music station. That's just fun. I mean, he had a great, I think Eric did that. I think Eric was the guy that did that. There's so much good stuff on there. I mean, I think that people didn't know about the Villanova Junction thing. I think people may not remember that Give Me Your Strongest Whiskey was from Denise LaSalle, I think it was. From her Love Talking, that actually just come out the previous year. So that was like timely. It's just, you hear the influences. And what I love about it is you hear his spontaneous influences. You know, what inspired him makes him say it, because he has no, there's no filter there. And he's just kind of saying, this is what comes out. And yeah, you're saying he's clowning, he's funny, he's having a good time. And you get a bit of one of the reasons I enjoy these kind of things, or like rehearsals or sound checks, is because he's comfortable and relaxed, and he's just talking, and he's with people he can trust, because you're not in the room unless he can trust you. And he's letting his personality of himself come out. I know one of the reasons D'Angelo likes Under the Cherry Moon is because it's close to what he's like. I think these are things that I feel he's close to, because this is him just kind of saying, I'm not going to filter it. I'm not going to be a gatekeeper of my thoughts. I'm going to just let it out there. And I, you also don't know whether he expects anybody ever to listen to this. So he's kind of trusting that, that said, I still want to hear it. I'm always happy to hear any of this kind of stuff or any of that stuff. There's one song, and I don't remember if it's in this stuff, that Prince and Sheila switch. I think it is. And I can't remember what song it is off the top of my head. I don't remember. If you listen, there's one time where you hear like Prince go away. I think he's playing guitar. He stops, and you can hear the shift where he goes from either to Sheila or to keyboards, or something where he does shift in mid song. And I just, those kind of things, when you know about them, it's really cool. The other thing I was going to add is the reason why this can be so detailed is because Eric Leeds. Eric Leeds has took so much notes. There's a lot of the things in this book and other things would not be as detailed if it wasn't for somebody like Eric Leeds, who wrote down what sessions were, I was able to get the main things, but he was able to say, these are the songs we did, and this is what I remember during this time. And those are the insights, to me, bring a lot of life into the music. Writing about music can be very boring. And I think the voices of the people that were there kind of make it so I want to go back and listen. So, oh, that's where he made a mistake, or that's where he sat on a keyboard, or whatever it is. So it makes me want to go back and find this stuff. And I think that's something important to me. Did we lose Michael?
He's back. He'll jump back on.
Okay. I think I chased him off with my words.
No, we come and go as we need to. It's this kind of thing. So one of the things I want to say about You Gotta Shake Something, You Gotta Shake Something for me is a song that I'm literally sometimes walking down the street and I go, I want to listen to You Gotta Shake Something. It is that song. And one of my favorite lines is, if you decide to get in a key, it's E flat. When he says that, I always die laughing. It is so funny. But the groove is really strong. Like if you're into James Brown and you love a groove, You Gotta Shake Something is a mad groove. Like I could live with that song for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. So that's all I want to say about that. Anybody else?
I just want to add to just Prince's musical lexicon and the importance of him covering anything by Denise LaSalle. I am probably sure that maybe half the people in the chat and half the people who come and hang out with us, I'm not going to say that. I would say that there will be a good number of Prince fans who have no idea who Denise LaSalle is. Somebody like me, raised in the South, raised on blues, raised on Southern soul, raised on Stax music when it was actually happening and all of that. I think that Denise LaSalle reference is just really important to understanding Prince's musical lexicon, because I think a lot of times, again, going back to that, how many slices in Prince's pie chart. And so I just think that that's another important moment to understand who Prince was in totality, kind of to Brother Tudahl's point about he's just off the cuff. This is not making notes somewhere. No, this is just part of in his mind that he's pulling out. And I just think that's important to know that, hey, just like, Prince could riff on B.B. King's Giving Me Some Outside Help I Don't Need, he can just as easily come and give you some Denise LaSalle, who again, hopefully that could be a gateway to people just going and knowing who Denise LaSalle is and why Prince would have thought, because this is before, of course, he knows who Mavis Staples is, but he's riffing on Denise LaSalle before he signs Mavis Staples to, Paisley Park, before George Clinton signed to Paisley Park. So this is not a some kind of happenstance that he would have signed Mavis Staples and George Clinton. Denise LaSalle lets you know that, no, this is who he was as totality. I'll shut up.
All right. Anybody else have anything they want to say about Gotta Shake Something? Okay, we're going to move on. We already talked about Prince being at the Patti LaBelle concert for New Year's Eve, so we're going to skip that. And we're going to skip the prologue for January 1986. That's the reason why you need to have a copy of the book so you can read all the things that we don't read. And we're going to go to Thursday, January 2nd, 1986. And I'm going to read this one because I love me some All Day, All Night. And so Thursday, January 2nd, 1986, All Day, All Night, vocals mix, Kiss 12-inch version mix, Sunset Sound Studio 3, 5:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m., booked locked out, producer Prince, artist Prince, engineer Cope Johnson. And we have a quote from Prince. And I say this every time that you're not here, Duane, but I so love that you bolded the Prince quotes. I just love that nice touch. It is important that you believe in yourself. I do musically, and I'm going to mute you, Arthur, because I can hear myself echoing. I do musically. I go into the studio and I believe in what I'm doing, and the people around me believe in what they're doing. It's a group effort, and it's very fulfilling. Prince. The first session of the new year found Prince working on a song from 2 years earlier, All Day, All Night. The track had been recorded when Prince and the Revolution debuted it during his birthday show at First Ave on June 7th, 1984. But he spent some time making adjustments to the song. At this point in Prince's record release/tour schedule, he would often concentrate intensely about what song's best told story he wanted to present. Usually the prospect of a deadline helped him make his decisions, and part of that involved going through the music recorded during that era and decided if it worked for the theme of the album, remembers Eric. When the release date of his next album would start to approach, he would start to focus, and you knew he might be looking at anything that he had been recording in the last 6 months, the last year, 9 months, or whatever, and in this case, 2 years. And only then he might start to get an idea of what he wanted the next album to be about. An extended version of Kiss was started, but it is unclear how far they got on the track. 2 C90 cassettes were created at the end of the evening. Status, oh my goodness, All Day, All Night, 5 minutes, 41 seconds, would eventually find a home on Jill Jones' amazing album from 1987, and Jill's version, in my personal opinion, is just as amazing as Prince's version. That's me. Prince's versions remain unreleased during his lifetime. On October 11, 2009, for his 2 performances in Paris, France, Prince named the concerts after the song, with the 5 p.m. show listed as All Day and the 10 p.m. show as All Night. He also performed the track and used chants from the song multiple times during the concerts and others that followed over the next week. And on this day, the Bangles Different Light album was also released on January 2nd. It contained the Prince pen Manic Monday, which was originally recorded by Apollonia 6.
Quick question. Is that also the same time around the television performance in France with I think Andy Allo, or is that a different performance? That's a different one than that 2009 when he was okay. All right.
I actually don't know. I think about that. I don't remember now. Sorry.
Because he did, I think, Shelby J, because it's the one with Shelby J and Andy Allo, I think, are in the band on a French kind of news kind of television show. And I was just trying to say, was that 2009 or was that later? Because I remember him performing all day. I think the day he performed, I know he performed All Day, All Night. He performed No Candy for You. I Like It When You Dance For Me. And I can't remember the other songs. But it was one of my, and they did the acoustic guitar performance before that. They did Johnny Be Good on acoustic guitar before they went to the stage. And I was trying to see if that was around the same time. All right, I'll shut up.
Let's see.
Yeah, that's it. LeGrand. Okay. Who was LeGrand? So who was the female then if it wasn't Andy Allo? Because she drew something she drew something on a pad. It was a female that, unless I'm getting my performances. So let me a DE68A. Somebody drew something on a pad, drew a picture of Prince on a pad. One, was that Andy, and was that not the same as the LeGrand Journal show in 2009?
I mean, I've seen other performances with Andy Allo where she does draw. So maybe you got the performances switched or something.
Switched up. Okay, cool. Okay.
All right. So let's see. Who wants to read about love and sex?
I'll do it.
Okay. Do you have your yeah, whatever. Yeah. Thank you.
Friday, January 3rd, 1986, Love and Sex version 2, sometimes listed as Love and Sex, tracking mix, Sunset Sound, Studio 3, 7 p.m. to 3 a.m., booked, locked out, producer Prince, artist Prince, engineer Coke Johnson. This is a Prince quote, and again, thank you, Brother Tudahl, for putting them in bold. I try not to repeat myself. It's the hardest thing in the world to do. There are only so many notes one human being can master, end quote. After years of recording music, it was inevitable that he'd repeat himself, even if it was just reusing the same title as a song he'd recorded 2 years earlier. Love and Sex, which has nothing in common musically and lyrically with his original 1984 recording, began as many of his songs did, with Prince laying down the basic groove on his drum kit, which he covered with several, is that Ensonq?
Ensonq.
Ensonq, thank you. Mirage tracks using presets, rock guitar fifths, and nylon strings, as well as guitar and bass, which were both likely played from the control room and recorded in the big room of the studio through his amplifier. The lyrics were written from a female perspective, quote, look at you, out of control with this crazy girl, end quote. And some of the musical elements from the song were likely influenced by Sheila, specifically the use of agogo bells, a Latin instrument similar to a cowbell. After 7 hours of recording and overdubs, an additional hour was spent creating a proper oral mood. The way the song was recorded and mixed actually gives the listener the feeling of being on the Ferris wheel referenced in the lyrics. Prince's philosophy on both love and sex can be better understood from an interview he had done in 1981. This is Prince's quote, more than my songs have, oh yeah, I love this quote. More than my songs have to do with sex, they have to do with one human's love for another, the need for love, the need for sexuality, basic freedom, equality. I'm afraid these things don't necessarily come out. I think my problem is that my attitude is too sexual, that it overshadows everything else, end quote. It is possible that Love and Sex was written and tracked at some point during the previous week, but it appears that the majority of the song was recorded on this date. Status. Hello? Sorry. Status. Love and Sex, 4 minutes and 11 seconds, was re-recorded for Sheila E. This version with Prince singing on the track remained unreleased during his lifetime, but was included on 2020 Sign of the Time Super Deluxe Edition. Sheila's updated Love and Sex remains unreleased.
And I love that Sheila E version, by the way.
Yeah. I just want to say that I love that quote because it actually starts the chapter in my book titled Sex. And that is where I talk about Prince created what I call the reverse sex metaphor. And the reverse sex metaphor is most people use other objects and details as a metaphor for sex, such as the double entendre, right? So they're talking about one thing, but you know they're talking about sex. The brilliance of Prince is Prince will talk about sex to talk about human neurosis. So when you get a song like Little Red Corvette, which was voted, I think, by Rolling Stone, one of the horniest songs of all time, Little Red Corvette is actually a song about the male nuance, the male neurosis that men don't know if we want to control or save women. And so that's what I love about that quote when Prince says that what I'm really discussing doesn't come out a lot. And I wanted to dedicate a chapter to songs that we think are songs about sex, but when you pull away from them. So even a song like Tambourine that we know is about masturbating, it's really a song about loneliness. And so Prince was interested in thinking about how our notions of sex identify the kind of human beings we are. I'll shut up.
All right. So I how can I say this? I don't like that Prince named two songs the same thing. Two totally different songs. And I don't know, it's something about the version 1 of Love and Sex, because it has so much energy as compared to this version of Love and Sex, which is more mid-tempo, I guess, if that's the right word. That I like when I'm talking to someone about Prince, you always have to give the caveat, like which one you're talking about, because they're totally different. So I say that to say that if you haven't heard the Love and Sex from the 1999 deluxe box set versus I'm sorry, Purple Rain. Yes, you're right. Thank you. Look at that. Hold on. Wait, Wayne, hold that up. Let me put you in the spotlight. Yes. I always get that wrong. Love and Sex is on the Purple Rain deluxe. And then the version 2 Love and Sex, because I know you have it, is on the Sign of the Times Super Deluxe. I love this, Duane. You're my banner. I've never had a banner before. Thank you for that. That's amazing. So I'm curious, like, it sounds like Michael loves this version of Love and Sex, but do you guys like pit the two against each other, Love and Sex version 1 versus version 2, or do you love them both?
Okay, so I'm at the risk of having my purple card pulled. This is what I started doing with a lot of Prince songs. What I do is I find out, so like you got Love and Sex, right? And then you got, let's do Love and Sex, and then let's say the different versions of Possessed. The way I deal with them is once I find out what year this one was recorded, I just put it on that particular playlist. And I don't care at all about differentiating. I go, oh yeah, that's a Love and Sex that's different from the other Love and Sex. Like so I don't know which Love and Sex I'm listening to till it comes up on the playlist. So I'm not even like I like this one over this one. I've because that comes up a lot, whether it's a remix that was done 5 years or a version that was done 5 years ago, or maybe you have something like Bold Generation versus New Power Generation. So with the Love and Sex in particular, I just basically listen and love both of them when it comes up in a particular playlist of that year, if that makes sense. I'll shut up.
All right, Arthur. Hold on.
You're muted.
I got you.
My opinion on Love and Sex.
Mm-hmm.
Not a song that I remember in either version, and that's not a hate thing or a petty thing. I don't know. I respond to when we talked about the idea of two different versions of this, just like the same song. Like I think of something like Possess, which I prefer the.
Yeah, but the thing is, this isn't actually two different versions of the same song. They're literally two different songs. Like
yeah, which again speaks to how I passed over both for whatever reason, but just not because I don't like them. They did neither one like really kind of grabbed me. I will say though, the Sign of the Times Deluxe is just so packed that there's stuff on there that I just haven't really dug into just because there's just so much of it, and sometimes it's just hard to get through like the dearth of it.
Okay. All right. I have to do this. And Theo, no, I'm joking. I cannot believe that Arms of Orion's mom and dad does not want to, hold on to both versions of Love and Sex. Theo. All right. So I want to welcome to the stage. We have one more date to read, but I don't want to leave Richard in the green room. So I'm going to bring to the stage Mr. Richard Cole. Welcome.
Hey,
right on.
I can't unmute you. You're unmuted. But there you go.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
What's up, man?
What's up? What's up, fam?
How you doing, sir?
Doing pretty good. Yeah, nice to meet you, Duane.
Nice to see you.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
So, Richard, while we're having this debate on the two different versions of Love and Sex. Do you have an opinion on either?
Yeah, I like the Purple Rain version better.
Yes.
I like the energy. Yeah, I like the energy of it better.
Yes. Me too. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. All right. Okay. So, Michael, do you mind reading our last day? It's Saturday, January 4th, 1986. And then we're going to transition to more about Ricky.
All right. Tricky. Working title. Tracking mix. Sunset Sound Studio 3. 2:30 p.m. 3 p.m. Book lockout. Producer Prince. Artist Prince. Engineer Coke Johnson. Quote by Eric Leeds. Tricky referred to something that was done for the Under the Cherry Moon soundtrack because Tricky was Jerome's character in the movie. I was hanging around some of those days, and I have a feeling that maybe I was involved. This was early in post-production for Under the Cherry Moon, but it is likely that Prince quickly recorded some piano segments that he played directly to tape as part of the score for the movie as a placeholder for the editors. Susan Rogers recalls the setup that he would use during this period. He had an edited version of the movie on videotape on VHS, and we set up at studio sound with 3 speakers, left, center, and right, and a video monitor, black and white, of course, in front of him and all his instruments around him, especially the Fairlight. And he would watch the movie, and we'd have tape rolling, and he would write, and he'd just score it as it was going. Well, I would love to see that. That's quite a picture to see. That would be interesting. It is likely that Prince was inspired by the way Miles Davis had created the score for Louis Malle's influential 1958 film, Lord, I Can't Read That. Also,
that's why I wanted you to read this paragraph, not me.
I can't either, Michael D. That's okay.
My daughter was here; she could read it. She knows French.
Okay. Shout out to your daughter. Also released as Lift to the Scaffold. Scaffold. I can't read the regular stuff. In the United Kingdom and Frantic in the United States. Okay. For that project, Davis didn't rely on the predetermined series of written pieces. Instead, he gave his jazz quintet a few basic harmonic ideas and then simply watched the film and added his own musical interpretations of the emotions of the scene. Wow, that is some genius stuff.
Yeah.
The results, I'm gonna have to go listen to that because I just think that's fascinating. The results were critically acclaimed. In the US release of Jazz Track, which contained an entire side of that score, was nominated for a Grammy in 1960. Status: the music recorded during this very brief session was likely used in an early cut of the Under the Cherry Moon. He would continue scoring the movie over the next several months in a similar fashion. Quickly, Dear Estate. I'm not hearing about no rumors of no special edition because we'll riot if we're not. So we're not going there. But if y'all can find that stuff, these recordings, that would be fascinating to hear just the progression of how Prince was working and constructed that and the music that you hear in the background of the movie. So please, it's a request. If you can find it, you don't even have to clean it up. Just put it out, man. We want to hear that. There you go.
All right. The one thing I will say, there is some video of Miles Davis recording it floating around. I don't know if the entire thing is out there.
Yeah. Is this documentary still on Netflix?
Oh, The Birth of Cool?
Yeah. There's there's footage of that in that documentary.
Amazing.
Okay. Check that out.
Yes, definitely. All right. Ted is in the building. I can't believe we look at that time in Michael Dean, 2:00 on the dot. We finished all our reading.
Yeah. What's up, Ted?
We can't hear you. Nope, can't hear you. Yep. So if anybody needs to leave, and you can leave at any time, please feel free to do so. We're going to transition. Oop, I'm hearing myself echo.
Yeah.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Shout it out to my man Ted on the wheels of steel.
Turn your radio down. Turn your radio down.
We see you over there shining, sir.
Wait, am I good?
Look.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm good now. Okay.
Can I add one thing real quick?
Oh, that you're not good. I'm still hearing myself echo.
Yeah.
You got to go into settings and do echo cancellation, I think.
Yeah. Can I add one thing real quick?
Yes.
If you look at the tricky date, that was all done in a half an hour.
Right.
It was it was just him sitting there. It's literally that stuff he did right there was just, I want to make sure because the other ones are like 8-10 hours. This one literally was a 2-track setup live. He just recorded it and that was that. So I just want to make sure that was noted because it's all spontaneous. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Thank you for that, Duane. Really appreciate that. Because this is probably one of the quickest studio sessions ever. Yes.
For a new song. Yeah. For a new song. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So so Richard, you got here first. So if you don't mind, we are here. And hold on one second. Let me get a picture up. So in case people do not know, but our dearly beloved Ricky is no longer here with us. And so I've asked some people that has had conversations with Ricky over the years, either mostly through the symposium to join us to, or, here on What Did Prince Do This Week or on Grown Folks Music when we used to do those podcasts. So we have Richard and Ted here with us, and some others may or may not join us. But I just wanted to make sure that we give Ricky his flowers and let the universe know that Ricky was loved. He will be sorely missed. I miss him already. What Did Prince Do This Week will not be the same without Ricky. It's just a huge loss. No one can replace Ricky. So, but we're going to continue, even though we will miss him dearly. So, Richard, if you don't mind introducing yourself and talking to us about your memories of Ricky.
Okay. I'm Richard Cole, and I met Ricky through the symposium, the one we did on the Times first album. And we had a chance to talk after that. I had heard him on all of you guys' shows and everything. And, it's so much because I think, he was very welcoming. I mean, everybody has been very welcoming because I was kind of like the new kid on the block as far as doing print shows and podcasts. And, he was kind of like the first one I had in-depth conversations with. And it was just like, I had known him all my life. It was just like, some of the other friends that I've had as musicians, that symmetry just fit right in. And times when he would be a guest on my show, the times that we would dialogue before or after. Again, his, the information, his love of music, that energy, looking back now, whether it was my show or everybody else's show, there's just an energy, like he was like a glue that would connect all of us in a way. And, I'm definitely going to miss that. And I think probably a thing I got is regret because I knew he was trying to heal. And sometimes you think sometimes you want to give somebody that space, that private time to heal and not bombard them with stuff or pressure them with stuff. But it's kind of like now is some things I wish we could talk about, some things I wish I could share with him now and stuff. But definitely going to miss him.
Thank you for that, Richard. All right, Ted.
Oh man, shit. Pretty Ricky. I met Ricky back in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, when I first started the YouTube channel, and I said Ricky might have been in the first 10 subscribers, something like that. And we became fast friends. We chatted all the time, and through, you know, I didn't even realize I met all of y'all through Ricky. You know, there's people on Instagram that I'm like, dang, this is a Ricky connection. This is a Ricky connection. This is a Ricky connection. And you know, in this world, it's some, you know, I never heard Ricky say a cross word about anybody. Just a really kind, a kind man. I think for men, it's easy for us to lose that in the world that we live in. You know, the kindness. And I was looking for y'all going to go to somebody else, but
It's all right, man.
It's okay.
I'm just rest in peace, bro. That's it.
Oh man, I got you.
Yeah.
So there's a question in the chat from Dorothy, and I want to show that Ricky did make it to Paisley Park in 2018 with his wife and kids. And I really love this photo. When he shared it on Facebook, he said, you know, they took the regular photo, and you can find the regular photo on his Facebook feed. But he said he asked if they could take one more so they could really pay tribute to Prince, and they turned. And this pretty much sums up Ricky, you know, giving reverence to Prince. So I'm so happy that he was able to make it to Paisley Park, and also with his family is really amazing. It really, really is. All right. And I want to say some things really quickly. I wasn't going to show this today, but I know that Ricky would want me to, because he was always a really great supporter of my symposia. In fact, it never failed. After no one but Ricky every single time would always text me and go, "Great job, D'Angelo." And I know that might sound silly, but that just shows you that he wanted me to know that I was doing the work. And I'm going to miss that from Ricky. He was so supportive. So these graphics are designed by the amazing Reverend.
Rev rocks. Rev is the best.
Yes, Rev is
the best.
And we are going to have our first hybrid symposium, I Wonder You 40. And for those of you who don't know, I Wonder You is a song off of Parade. It's one of my favorite songs off of Parade. And we will be celebrating 40 years of Parade and Under the Cherry Moon, but also 10 years of Prince's passing. This is going to be 3 days. The first day on Friday, April 17th, is going to be online. A couple of sessions will be on Zoom events. And if I get a keynote, it will be on YouTube. And then April 18th and 19th, which are Saturday and Sunday, will be in person in Brooklyn at 370 J Street, where we've been the past couple of times we've been in person. So if you want to pre-register, you just go to iwonderyou40.substack.com to get like the announcements. And then the website is iwonderyou.polysolid.com. And you can get to that by going to bit.ly/iwonderyou40. And I haven't posted any of the speakers or anything like that yet. But I did post a page because I am dedicating the symposium to Ricky. Ricky would have loved this symposium. And I had emailed him about participating, and it really saddens me that he will not be able to celebrate this with us. All All right, so we've already talked about this, but I cannot stress enough, if you're coming to Brooklyn or New York rather, because this is going to be in Manhattan, you got to come and see Law perform. It's going to be, this is happening Friday night. The doors open at 8:30, show at 9. And
wait a minute. Before you go on, can you go back to the poster for the symposium?
yes.
This is so appropriate because one of Ricky's favorite things from Under the Cherry Moon was the edited out opening. Yes. Because every chance Ricky got, he would say that line from Prince at the beginning, I would give you this ring, but you ain't got no arms or fingers. So the fact that Ricky loved that opening, that was the first thing I thought about when I saw that statue there. All right, I'll sit up. Go ahead.
No, thank you, Celie, for sharing that. That's so important. Yes. All right. So unfortunately, we got bad news. I mean, with Ricky's passing, but for those of you who may or may not know, unfortunately, Troy Gua's cancer has come back. So we want to make sure that we send out loads of love to him and continue to support him through his GoFundMe. And we, also Dr. Funkenberry continues his cancer battle as well. So we want to make sure that, as Richard said, we don't want to bother them, because I'm not saying way, Richard, but you definitely want to reach out to them and let them know that they are loved. And if you can contribute to their GoFundMes, that would be great. But if you can't, just sending them a kind word and letting them know that you care is such a gift. And we've talked about Addie Durant, who is very involved in the Clubhouse, the fan version of Purple Rain on Clubhouse, which was incredible. And Des Dickerson also has a GoFundMe as well. So there's a lot of the Purple community really going through things right now, and we want to support them in any way that we can. And we have an accompanying playlist like we always do. So you know what I need to add to the playlist actually is the first version of Love and Sex, which I will do. But you can also listen to the Flesh sessions and the studio version of All Day, All Night that Prince recorded, as well as the First Avenue birthday version from '84, and one of my favorite versions, Jill's version. And I also put together a playlist of Ricky's symposium appearances, as well as his appearances on Richard's podcast. I have one episode he did with Michael Dean. I'm trying to find an episode he did with Michael Dean where they're on camera and I can't find it. So if anyone knows the one I'm talking about, if you can send it to me at wdpdtw@gmail.com, I would really appreciate it. And then Duane, I don't know if you remember this, but when we did I think he might have also been on the first podcast. The first podcast we did about your first book was just an audio podcast, but we actually filmed the second, when you released your second one, and Ricky joined us for that one. So I put that in the playlist as well, because I thought that would be really appropriate.
Yeah, good one. It's a good one.
Yes.
The long one. That's a long one.
Yes, yes.
The long one.
The long one.
Yes, yes.
Extended 12-inch.
All right. So you talked to us about this during our last symposium, but Brian wants to know any news on Volume 3, Duane.
Ooh, a Dear Duane moment.
I'm supposed to be writing a Volume 3?
Look, you said.
Right.
I'm still working on it. I'm hoping I've got something else coming out this year that hopefully people will like. Don't want to talk about that one yet, but still working on that. I've got a lot of it mapped out, still doing some interviews for it. And what I'm hoping to do is I'm hoping to have it out next year. If it comes out later in the year, what I'd like to do, and I've told you this before, is kind of feed you guys stuff so that you can talk about things, maybe early chapters to you guys, because I love what you do, and I love how detailed you guys get, because you add to the text. And I'd like to be able to continue that. And I personally love to have you continue the show. I don't know whether you're going to go 4 years. Done. I don't know. I hope not, because you guys do such a great job. But my goal is to have it released next year. That's my goal. I'd love to get it released earlier, but you got to remember every sort of, when you do a book, you have to give it to them like 8 months early to be released, and it's not ready. And I want it ready. I feel like there's a high mark that I want to keep to with these books, and I don't just want to slap something together and put it out there. I'd rather have it right than right now. And so that's an important thing to me, because I think it respects Prince when you can give, because there are books that come out, you've seen that there's like, that somebody just wrote that on a weekend, and I don't want that. I really don't want that. I want to have people have a chance to see the details, because I'll tell you, even when I'm going through this and listening to you guys, I'm going, oh man, I forgot about that part. Because after a while, I can't remember 700 pages, 700 pages. It just can't. And so it's always fun for me to go back to this, and I want to make sure I got it right. But I also want to make sure I give you guys stuff. If you're thinking about, are you thinking about continuing the show?
Oh yeah, we definitely continue.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, then you just added stress.
We'll be outside your door if you.
No, I want to give you guys. I want to supply things to you guys and make sure there's something there. Even if it's just me giving you chapters to go through on the air as the book's coming out is my goal. But that's where I am. Like I said, I've got some stuff coming out this year that I'm excited about. So we'll see what announcements of that be later in the spring. And that's the big stuff. But yeah, I will. I'm working on it. Right now, it looks like it's 87, 88, and possibly 89.
How did you know I was about to ask you that, Duane? I literally was asked.
So that's I've got 89 has a lot of cool stuff in it, all Batman stuff, and also that was the last of the Love Sexy tour and things like this. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. Yeah, you are. Thank you. And if again after that, what I'm hoping to have is 80 through 82, which would mean that as soon as this one was done, you guys could start with the next one. What was Prince doing, 50 years ago, whatever it was. I don't know if it's 50, but yeah. Yeah, but 50 years ago. So it's like, which is crazy. But, I don't know. That's my goal, and I'm still writing, and every night's a late night. And,
Man, doing the work, brother. Hey,
Yes.
salute, man. Take your time. Let somebody take your time, do it right. You can do it, baby.
That song was in my head too. Thank you.
So
Yeah.
Ronnie wants to know: have you spoken to Pierre?
Yesterday.
Wow, damn.
We keep in touch. We've been talking about doing some stuff together too, which would be great because he's like the godfather of this stuff. I mean, I worked with him on his books.
Hey, so you were a young musician in 2020.
What was that? And so I worked with Pierre on his books. I did a lot of research for it, and his books inspired my books. So, well, thank you very much. This is always nice. You guys leave me with a huge head when I leave, and it was just nice because my arms hurt. I wear these things on my arms because my wrists hurt so bad from writing. Aww. But I want to make this. It's one of these things that I love doing. I get giddy. I walk out to my wife and say, "This is, Prince did this," and she's like, "I'm glad you have friends that you can talk to about this." Because she's like, she likes Prince, whereas the rest of us, we live Prince. We do, and we're all students. Like I said earlier, we're all students trying to learn this stuff. And even though my books come out, I'm finding stuff out after the books come out. And people come to me and said, this is what really happened, or there's some additional information, and I love that too. I don't mind. I want it right. So if somebody comes later and says, this is what it is, I kind of get a kick out of that. That's enjoyable to me. So, yeah. So I'll let you guys know. And everybody, let's see what this says. Recommend them for non-Prince fans. Oh, thank you. That's nice too. If you can, write a good review on Amazon. That always inspires the publisher. I've got another book scheduled, but they just sold the publisher has now moved to another publisher, And so I'm with a new company. So there's all kinds of new rules I have to follow and stuff like this. But I want these done right. I know some of you guys will be reading these beforehand because I'll have, D'Angela look through things long before they're done. And that's really helpful to me because it's having, I'll tell you the last one, D'Angela wrote up, and no, this is it. And I needed that, but she did. She's like, but I needed to hear this. Hearing this is, she's like, you forgot the lead on this, or, and I need that kind of stuff to because I get lost in it. And I have to admit, I don't always remember everything. And so sometimes people will say, oh yeah, didn't he say this here? And yeah, he did. And that's a good thing to know. So I'm grateful to all you guys. Grateful to the people. Ricky has said, one of the things he had said to me is, if you need somebody to be proofreading your third book, yeah, buddy. I don't know if he used the word buddy, but he did say that. So, yeah. So I feel like there's so many things now that I'm going through this and through the book I'm working on now that I think Ricky would just love. I don't know who's juggling there.
Yeah. That's Ricky. That's the spirit of Ricky.
Taking us all a microwave burrito.
I would just say to I think Wild Man Beyond, go back to the beginning of the stream. If you go back all the way back to the beginning of the stream, we almost ran Kim away because we spent 30-40 minutes just talking about that. So if you missed the discussion of us and Prince and Stranger Things, go back to the beginning. You got a whole 40 minutes of content for that. And I just like to say at the end, something happened to me this week that was so fitting in us remembering Brother Wyatt. And it's about the community that gets built around these things by getting connected to people in ways you can never imagine. So I want y'all to know something. I found out something. For years, Brother Ted has been gigging and playing with a guy who was my college classmate and who was the drummer for my favorite local band here in Jackson, Mississippi, that I never knew Brother Ted knew this dude. And that was like the most Ricky Wyatt thing. So Ted put up on his YouTube account, he said, Ted, give me the three names because I know one was Little Richard. Who were the three? You said that what is Little Richard and what are the other two guys?
So Little Richard, that DeMar played drum.
I didn't want you to say it. I want you to say the three artists.
Little Richard, Zigaboo Motorlisa, and Miles Davis.
When Ted put that up, what do these three people have in common? I immediately went like, oh fuck, DeMar, the drummer. DeMar was the drummer. And then when Ted put in, he was like, yeah, I gig with. I said, what? You fucking gig with DeMar, the dude from my face? Because I knew that DeMar had been a drummer for those three people. And when Little Richard would come through Mississippi, I would get to hang out with DeMar. So that was the most Ricky Wyatt moment for me because these are the kinds of friendship connections that you make through Prince's music. And then you realize that, oh my goodness, this person is connected. It was like in the moment when I was mourning Brother Wyatt's transition, I was reminded of why I was so blessed to have Brother Wyatt in my life. It was because of these types of transitions. So thank you, Brother Ted, and thank you all again. I just wanted to end for me on that if you want to know why we are all here, it's because those connections to Prince's music and Prince connecting us to other people who make our lives even brighter than what they are. I'll shut up.
I have to add, that's so funny. I don't know DeMar necessarily personally, but one of my homegirls who I used to do a podcast with, that was her homeboy. Like,
oh wow.
That's how I knew him, and then she kind of connected. And I knew he was in the Prince, and I knew he was a musician. So it is a small world.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because I knew he played with Little Richard.
Yeah. And in another podcast, he has some of the greatest Little Richard. And I'll share my favorite DeMar Little Richard story in another podcast. I knew about Little Richard, but it made me respect Little Richard even more. But I'll say that one for another podcast.
Interesting, man.
All right.
Man, I just real quick. My first trip to Paisley was for my birthday, and I'm a digital hoarder. Like I got voicemails from my mom and stuff. that I refused to delete. And Ricky called me on the day after my birthday to ask me about, I'm not going to play it for y'all, but ask me about my trip. And last night I was looking, I was like, man, I hope I didn't delete this message. And I had deleted the message, but I saved it in enough time to hear my man's voice. Man, that brother will be missed for sure. But I'm glad he's connected all of us for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, unless someone has anything they'd like to say, normally I would say to Michael Dean to take us out, but I'm going to let Madhouse take us out. And I hope everyone has a really great day. Please reach out to your loved ones and let them know that they are loved. Tomorrow is never promised. And we will be back next week.
Actually, I'm sorry. I do want to say something for you to just to reiterate, man. We that you've heard already today. Life is short, but let's not take for granted the connections that we make through this.
Absolutely.
Let's not wait. And as we've seen, there's people going through it right now. That's Troy. That's my homeboy. He live here.
Yes.
That of course, it bothers everybody, but that's some bullshit that you got to go through that. But we're gonna appreciate everybody that's here. We're in our part of our lives, some of us, where we're starting to see people leave. We never had to necessarily deal with that. Doing this podcast, there's a handful of people that I had on the podcast or interviewed that are no longer here anymore. Ricky, Sean, another one of my partners on the show, Kat, Wally, Pepe, a couple of the brothers who were started out with Prince early on. Man, my names are escaping me, but you saw the interviews. They was with him in the early days. The neighborhood homeboys who lived across the street and was with Jammin' Lewis and them. We interviewed him, Kevin. A lot of these cats ain't here no more. So we just want to appreciate all of them. We appreciate everybody in this chat. When y'all going through something too and y'all having a bad day, put that in the chat. We're all here for each other. I love all these people that's on the show right now. The glue, D'Angela, thank you so much. We love you so much. We love you. Thank you for all of this. So that's all I got to say. Now you can take
congratulations on the time and getting into the 4th year. I mean, seriously, when you originally came to me with this idea, I thought you were nuts. Now I still think you're nuts with no time on your hands. So I laugh about this.
It's not just me.
No. But originally she came to me and said, what do you think about doing a show like this? And she said, you don't have to have anything to do with it. You don't have to show up. You don't do anything. I just want to talk about it. I thought for a second, what? Why would somebody do this? And now I see why, because you do a great job. And people don't understand how much she puts in between this and the symposiums and this other stuff and her work in a relationship, so it's like she's got a lot on her plate. And she shows up every week and passionately. And that's the other thing is showing up is 90% of life. And not only does she do it, MD, you do it, Arthur, Seeley, just you guys, seriously, Richard, you constantly have your podcasts, which I love. You respectfully, you always ask me whether or not you can put them in the chat, in the group, so these things are really important to me. And I cherish these things. I would not know some of these guys. I've had time in person with some of you. That's how D'Angelo and I met. We were sitting at a table and just started talking. We became fast friends. Michael Dean and I have had times in I don't know. Did you and I do something with Troy up in Minneapolis? I don't know if you did with it because I know I've done
so many things in person.
The PRN alumni stuff. I wasn't sure if that was one of the things that Troy was involved with.
I was there.
That's what I thought. So we had that word in person. So when we're talking about these people, when I saw the thing about Troy the other day, it hits me because I'm like, this is my buddy. This is my homie. Funkenberry. I had dinner with him last year. So it's these people I know and I love, and I these are family. And so this is a little like church to me in the sense that I get to come here and read out of a book and sing some songs with my friends and have other people, asking questions and it's always fun. And I tune in when I'm not on, I'm listening. So if I'm not on, I'm in, so that, and thank you guys for doing this so long. It really does touch me. And I can't even begin to explain how much this means to me. because it's not about me. It's about the book, but the fact and about Prince. But the book just happens to be a little bit of a guidepost, and that's it makes me feel something special. So thank you guys.
And just before I go on the record, I want to say salute to Richard for what he do for the community with the podcast, and also Funkatopia, Chris Johnson. There's a number of number of guys that we are blessed. I'm watching.
We are blessed.
Yeah, we're blessed. So I'm shouting y'all out. I love it. Keep it
absolutely,
going.
absolutely. I think there's so many, and the new ones that pop up. And you know, it's like there's so many good. We have the luxury of this kind of stuff, and not only people that know stuff, but people that want to have it out there. And yeah, sometimes it gets a little territorial where people say, you know, but you know what? For the most part, it's a really polite group, and I love that. I could argue all day what Prince would want. I have no idea. None of us do, but I think Prince would want to have his legacy continued, if nothing else. And I think that you guys do an exceptional part in that. So thank you for everything.
Thank you.
And I just want to say,
go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone on the panel, you know, for the kind words and encouragement for the show. But that show would not exist without each and every one of you, because even when Prince was still walking the planet, you know, I would check you guys out and listen, tune in faithfully. And when I started to throw my hat in the ring, you know, you guys have been the biggest inspiration to what I do. And, you know, the kind of quote, she's always in my head whenever I feel like giving up or whenever my sunshine turns to rain, whether it was you guys or Ricky or whoever would have, you know, just that one thing that would say, you know what, I ain't quitting. I'm going to keep going. And, you know, I just like, you know, what you guys do, and you guys will keep inspiring me to keep going.
This is the juice I needed too. Definitely the juice I needed too. So thanks, guys.
Thank you. And go ahead, Celie.
I was just going to echo, just say I love you to everybody you want to say I love you to.
I love you, Celie.
I love you,
Celie.
So thank you, brother. So I want because I'm really glad at being able, conscious about doing that. And I think that the cool thing about that is most of us do that. But I just want to always keep on mind, say I love you to everybody you want to say I love you to every time. And even like y'all know, I don't text, so I email, and people, my friends who text, who now email, they get mad. Because I have a friend who says she'll email me and she'll start the email with, if I was to send in a text, this would be over by now, dumbass. That's literally how she emails me every day. If this was a text, this email would be over. It would be over by now. So whether it's a text, whether it's an email, whether it's a phone call, say I love you to the people you want to say I love you to every time. That's it. I'll say that's true.
All right. With that being said, because I honestly don't know if I ever told Ricky that I loved him.
He knew it though.
Yeah.
He knew it.
Yeah. How could you not?
Yeah.
We all know you love us.
Right.
I can only imagine what Ricky got.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah. He got it all. He knew all my sides. He was familiar with all of it. So I really want to thank you, Duane. Again, you have joined us for every first episode of our new season, and you don't have to do that. And I'm so appreciative of being here. So I love you, Duane.
Love you too. Love you too very much.
I love you, Michael Dean. Nobody else. I said, who's coming with me? I asked like 20 folks in an email, and Michael Dean was the only one who said, I'll come with you.
Hey, that email was crickets. That email, she said that email out.
I didn't really understand it either. I was just like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let me just.
Well, Michael had started the thing about the minute of Purple Rain that he was doing for a while. So he's in for long hauls. Yeah. You know, dude.
I didn't make that long haul either.
You know, you started. You were there, man. You know.
Thank you, Ariel, for letting me know, because I wasn't sure. And I want to say thank you, Celie. I mean, I have to say I love you, Celie, because for showing up. You're our. We can't do this without you. And thank you so much. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. And I love you, Arthur Turnbull, who is my brother. And I thank you for showing up today, in particular for Ricky. I really appreciate that. And I don't know if I said I love you, but I love you. And I love you, TED Talk Space. First and foremost, because you're Southern.
There we go. Southern people unite with the fish. With the fish stockings on the ceiling that Brother D thinking some country ass shit. We gonna play our albums and the fish nets on the ceiling. Go ahead, Brother D. Go ahead, Pop Dub.
The fish nets on the ceiling. Oh my God.
So, Ted, I wanted to do a podcast after I heard Arthur. Arthur has a podcast, an amazing podcast called The Music Snobs. And once I started listening to the Music Snobs, I was like, I want to have conversations with my folks, but I wanted it to be Southern. So me, Ricky, and Ivan Orr started doing the Prince podcast for Grown Folks Music. And it was all Southerners, and I love that. So you have a special place in my heart, Ted, just because it's something about Southerners. You know how it is. It's just like, it's just an immediate connection. So I love you. And Richard, I love you. Thank you so much for being here today. For my dear Ricky, I really appreciate you showing up. Thank you.
Thank you. Anytime. Love you guys too.
All right. And with that being said, we're going to go out unless there's anybody wants to say anything. Okay, so let's do this.